A couple of days ago I did a video about the beachfront path in Seminyak, and I found that there was a bit of commentary about how the tides in Kuta in particular were a lot worse. And it got me thinking, should I go over and have a look? So I'm here in Kuta now, and we're going to check out how the beachfront path fared here during the recent high tide and see if it's really that much worse than it was in Seminyak. In Seminyak we just had a bit of sand and a bit of water coming over the beachfront path, but I got online and I saw some really bad images. So I want to see how bad it really is here. I mean, the beach from here has a bit of like rubbish down there where it's been washing in. I can see surfers as far as the eye can see up that way. I mean, there'd have to be over 100 surfers in the water up that way. So there's still a lot of activity down here, but has it affected the bars? Has it affected businesses? Is tourism still going on as normal aside from the surfing situation? Let's check it out. The thing is, along here, I'm not actually familiar with the beachfront path along here too much anyway. I've only been up it like a few times in the past 15 years. What I do know is that there are a lot of bars that sort of overhung the edge here because they'd built them up with sandbags and they'd plonk their bean bags on there and you'd have your beers and stuff. That seems to be gone, and I can see up here something really bad. You check this out. Oh, that's really bad. It's so bad I can't even get past. That's how bad it is. That path has just been destroyed all the way along. All the lighting's gone, and it's just, oh my God. It's worse than I could even imagine. Terrible down there. I'll see if I can get through. If I can't, I'll have to go along the road and then cut back. There's actually a rock wall along here which blocks a lot of that anyway. But even that hasn't been able to stop the power of that big high tide undercutting the beachfront path there. It's just collapsed into the ocean. In fact, it's not even really resting on anything anymore. Like I'm guessing it was built on top of the sand, and the sand's been washed away and it's just collapsed into whatever was below it, which is, I mean, it's what you'd expect really, isn't it? So that's the sort of the picture all the way along here. So it looks like a lot of businesses have been affected, and you can't actually walk along the beach at all. So I'm having to walk along the road at the moment because there is no way to get through there. The beach is actually completely washed away, except for those bits of concrete path which are sort of at 90 degrees to what they originally were. It's pretty bad. So I started at Jalan Pantai Kuta, and so I've only walked 100 metres north now, and it's actually not too bad here. Like, there is a bit of the beach has been washed away, but it's not the end of the world. At least like the businesses are still operating. There are still people here. You're sitting down having coconuts, beers, a bit of nasi goreng or whatever. So like, that's promising in this particular area. But then I can see up a little bit further, it gets bad again. So we're up to a section now where there's a couple of surfers out there. Most of them are a little bit further towards Legian at the moment. But the path here is totally fine. Like, hardly anything has changed here. And if there were any sort of things broken or knocked down, they've fixed it pretty quickly. Obviously the damage wasn't too severe in this small little part. But again, I'm still pretty far south, like nowhere near Legian yet. You can see all along the path that obviously the sea's been right up here because the sand's totally covering it. I wonder if it got to the main road. I think it might have done as well. Like, it might have gone through there as well. I saw a couple of videos from the night time when that big tide hit, and it was vicious. Like, there were rolling waves over this area, like rolling waves. It's just so high. I remember when I first came to Bali, one of the first places I went to was Kuta, and even then I knew, I mean, that was like 25 years ago, even then I knew, had a bit of a reputation of being a bit, I don't know, a bit rough and ready. And I really enjoyed it that first time, and I actually, every time I came on holiday subsequently, I'd always make sure I spend at least a few days in Kuta, because there's something about Kuta that really has a bit of grit and character to it that I really enjoy. The other part about Kuta that I really like is it's quite real. Like, the people down here are real. You know what I mean? There's no fakeness, there's no attitude. There's just the real deal. People just come down to relax, surf, have a good time, have a few drinks and a bite to eat. It's pretty nice like that. Heaps more surfers along this little section here as we get further north. I'm actually going to try and walk up into Legian along the path. So that'll take me 25 minutes, and I'll just chop out any bits which are not interesting. A lot more surfers in this little section up here. And then you can see the path just here coming up, which is being washed away quite severely as well. Like, that's really bad. I don't know how you're going to fix that. That's terrible. And like, you can see that if that tide comes up again, like, You could easily see the rest of the path being washed away. The street is only probably 5-10 metres from that area, and you could easily see the, well, I don't know if the road's built on sand, but it probably is as well. You could easily see the sort of shoreline receding to that distance. Like it's just there, it's like really close, isn't it? Yeah. And then here again, we have more disaster. More disaster. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. And then the path ends here because the beach is gone. Last time I came down here and made a video, I made the comment that my memory of Kuta Beach was that it was a really sort of wide beach. And I was shocked at how narrow it is right now. And there were a lot of theories in the comments about why that is, and it's something to do with some other construction going on somewhere else around here, which somehow alters the tides and the shifts the sands and that sort of stuff, which makes sense, I guess. I don't pretend to know anything about how that sort of stuff works, but it makes sense. If you're going to start disturbing the natural environment, it just sort of pops out in other areas. You know, we hear about those stories from Chandidasa where apparently the reef offshore was mined, and then that allowed the waves come into shore and wash all the sand away. You know, that sort of stuff you hear a lot. Yeah, so the path's gone here. There are little sections where it appears again like here, but then it goes again. For a lot of people, Kuta was always their first taste of Bali, the place where you feel that real freedom, cheap food, cheap beer, a bit of a party atmosphere, just total freedom. And then obviously as time goes on, you migrate to different things as your tastes change, as Bali itself changes as well. And some people I know that came to Bali in the very early 80s and late 70s say that it was just jungle back there. And then they came back like 3 or 4 years later and it was just built up, like it happens quickly. And Bali's always been undergoing these changes, these regenerations, trying to adapt to the new clientele that come here all the time. And it sort of Canggu is sort of the manifestation of that at the moment, in that the world needed a place like Canggu and it got it, and it's still very popular. I don't like it, but a lot of people do, and it's important to note. I always used to do Kuta, Ubud, and then one other place, like maybe Ahmed, or I did Chandidasa once. I've done Munduk before, I've done Lavina before. So I did quite a few different places on my holidays over the years, and I actually never went to Sanur on holiday. I never once went to Sanur on holiday because it had the reputation of being boring. Always had that reputation, until I decided that I wanted to move to Bali and started having a better look around. That's when I sort of looked at Sanur and thought, you know what, that actually suits me a lot. And a lot of time had passed since I'd first come to Bali anyway, and that probably explains a little bit why I really enjoy Sanur. You get older and you want a slower pace of life. It really suits me. Now Kuta is not looking terrible. Like, they've obviously been cleaning things up here because there's a lot of piles of rubbish on the sand and that sort of stuff. But apart from that, the sand looks okay. The water looks okay. A lot of these beach bars are gone, and a lot of the cellars that were here are gone. This car park has got a bit of sand in it. Obviously that was filled with water. But other than that, like, it's come back to normal very, very quickly, and which is quite positive actually. I've been walking many hundreds of meters now without there being any impact at all on the beachfront path here in Kuta. I had assumed before I got here that the whole place was a disaster area, but now that I've been here, it's a very, very small section so far that's bad, and it might get worse when we get further up. It's not as bad as I expected. It's actually, like, if you came yesterday, if you just landed in an aeroplane yesterday, came down to the beach, to this area, like, you wouldn't know at all. There is no evidence in most of the area there were any problems at all just a few days ago. That's it, Askara kitchen and bar, no dramas there, like that seems to be fine. And then we're getting straight past that, past the toilets, and another section here, which again seems to just be normal. I mean, they might have been affected a couple of days ago, but right now, like, it just looks totally normal. Looks pretty good. Coming past Gecko's beach bar there, seems to be no effect there. The tide's high at the moment. I'll show you on the beach there. It's I think half an hour until high tide, or an hour till high tide, so it's nearly there anyway. So that's the sort of scene. It looks fine just in this area again. Yeah, looks totally fine actually. Looks pretty good. Like, it just feels really good to be here. Amazing. A lot more of those sun lounges on the beach than maybe sort of 15, 20 years ago, isn't there? Last time I was here, I made a video and there was a guy at a bar who told me to get the camera out of his face, and I just walked past the bar and he's still there. Okay, I've now arrived at Jalan Melasti. That's it there. So we're now in Legian, and again, there still has not been any further destruction that I can see. So up here, the path is covered in sand, but that's about it really. Like, it's not destroyed at all. I'll keep going north, so I'm quite far into Legian now, and still not that big a deal up here. I think that southern part near Jalan Pantai Kuta was always close to the water's edge anyway, and it always had problems because of that. They'd had to build a rock wall there anyway, and I think that's the part of the path that's collapsed like 3 or 4 times now into the ocean. So that makes sense that that's the part that is having a lot of problems. But as I get further up here, I'm not seeing any other issues actually. Now what does that mean? Well, it means that either the issues weren't as bad as what I thought they were, or they've actually cleaned up really quickly all the debris and rubbish that had been washed up and fixed the path. Well, I don't know about that. They haven't fixed the path because there's not much of the path that's been destroyed. Okay, we've just passed Lucy and Warung Happy on the beach, and we're moving up, and in the car park there's lots of loaders and tractors and stuff, but I think they're already there to rake the sand anyway most of the time. They don't seem to be having any activity because of the high tides that we've had. So that's Nyoman and Son, Bali Rock and Naughty Pineapple, and it's pretty quiet around here, but it looks beautiful as well. Obviously the surf did come up this high, but because people have swept the path and they've raked the beach and stuff, like, you don't even know, like, it hasn't really caused too much destruction. Interestingly, along this path here in Kuta, there's supposed to be no cycling, not like the one in Sanur where you're dodging cyclists and runners and all that sort of stuff. Here, no cycling at all, which is nice, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Actually, the cycling situation in Sanur is not bad either. I mean, there's just sometimes you get dinged by the bell and you get surprised, you don't know which way to run and that sort of stuff, but it isn't a big deal. I mean, here they don't have cycling at all, maybe because the path is generally a little bit narrower most of the way along. But it's looking good. It looks like a big storm's brewing out there.
Come on, boss.
But this is coming past Nat's Place Bar and Coffee Lounge, which is this place here. Yeah. So we're getting quite far north here in Legian now. This area is just across the road from Melasti Beach Resort. I remember back in the day, maybe 20 years ago, people used to go there for the massages because they were really cheap and really good. Okay, we're coming up to a place called Local Beach House. Looks pretty good, that place. I remember the first time that I came to Kuta, and like, it was one of my first times overseas. I've been overseas before, but I felt quite uncomfortable being in a new country. And one of the things I remember was when I walked really far one day, like, I just walked for miles and miles and miles from my hotel in Kuta, and I ended up just at the start, or the southern part of Legian, and I thought I was just so adventurous. It felt like I was the only person on earth that had ever done it before. And like, on a day like today, I'm walking from the south of Kuta all the way to Seminyak with not even a problem at all. It's just amazing how your perspective change based on your life experiences, isn't it? We're in the very northern end of Legian now. Might even be called Seminyak, I think. I'm not quite sure, because we're really close now to Jalan 66, and that's definitely Seminyak. So, isn't it? Like, that was my memory anyway. Jalan Arjuna, I think it says on the map these days. I always remember it as Jalan 66. There's a lot of surfing going on, a heap of surfing. Pretty normal stuff over here. Just goes to show how long it's been since I've been here. This is Jalan 66 now. That thing there, I don't know what it is, like a statue on top of an empty building. That wasn't there 15 years ago, which is the last time I was here. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. It's like I bet you it's like a tsunami thing where you run up there in a tsunami or something like that. But if you're down in, I don't know, but if you're down in Kuta, you've got a long way to run. Like, you get about 2 Ks. Yeah, so here we are, Jalan 66. Looks pretty good here actually. A bit different to what I remember. It looks a little bit more built up. I mean, it's always been built up since I've been coming here, but this just looks a little bit more built up than I remember. So there you have it. That is the Kuta Legian Seminyak beachfront update. I'm not seeing much of a problem up here at all, to be honest. Maybe I missed a section, I don't know, but I just walked a good couple of Ks up there and didn't really see too much of a drama at all. It shouldn't affect your holiday unless you're a regular customer of one of those few bars at the very southern end that seems to have been washed away. You should be okay. Now, it is tragic for some of those bars down there, and that beachfront path will need to be fixed, and I'm sure it will be pretty soon. I might just go and get a motorbike taxi back to where I parked my motorbike and show you down that main road, Jalan Legian, all the way down if I can, to just give you an idea of what it looks like right now. So this is a situation on Jalan Legian as we go down south from Seminyak all the way down. Obviously at some point you do have to turn off and take a detour to get around to one of the one-way sections, but this is a two-way section. It feels like it always has done to me, like it feels pretty normal down here. Okay, so we've now moved into Kuta, and this is what it looks like. There's a bit of traffic, as is often the case on Jalan Legian in Kuta. Not very busy, to be honest, not very busy, but it doesn't look abandoned. Like last time I was here, it looked quite abandoned because there were so few people, but now there's a few more people coming back, and I guess post-COVID they're trying to get things back in order again. It's not the Kuta that it used to be, where it used to be really pumping all day long with bars and music and that sort of stuff, but it's still a fairly pleasant place. In fact, when I compare the number of people that are here at the moment compared to the last time I was here, I do feel that it's got a little bit more vibrancy and activity. A bit of a party bus there. But it just hasn't got all the young crowd that it used to have. I mean, they've all moved to Canggu now. But yeah, here we go, coming past the Bali bombing memorial, which is there. Okay, this is the end of Jalan Legian. We're now at Bimo Corner, and we'll turn right and go down to the beach there where I've parked my motorbike. But as you can see, things here in Kuta, the more they change, the more they stay the same. And that completes a full loop here up through Kuta, Legian and Seminyak. The storm's just about to come in. The breeze has really sort of gotten pretty strong now. I've got to make a run for it back to Northward. Thanks for coming along for the ride today. Thanks for all the new members that have joined up recently, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Bali and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and Sampai Jumpa.